Hey, welcome back to my channel. So tonight I want to discuss with you Andrew Wilson going on to Joe Rogan 2 times in a year and what that really means and why I believe this is all one huge ginormous psyop. So here's where I will start with this. The psyop is, in my opinion, that Joe Rogan had some alternative views as to what was going on with Charlie Kirk's murder, and he wants to appear balanced. He wants to look like the cool guy. So in order for him to have the ideas that he wants, he brings someone on that is going to 100% disagree with him. So Joe Rogan ends up looking like the bad cop, and Andrew Wilson looks like the good cop. And Andrew Wilson worked for TPUSA, even if it was one time, even if it was a contract thing. And now he is on the top 5 biggest podcasts in the world. And he's got his arm out and saying, look this way, look this way. I know what you're hearing over here. Focus over here. And I just think that Joe would have had on Destiny or one of those guys, but they're too crazy. And Andrew Wilson seems more normal. Another thing is Joe Rogan had on his wife, Rachel Wilson. And these are not like super over the top interesting people. These are not there's nothing that noteworthy about them. They like to go on to like teenage girl / like Gen Z talk shows and just dunk on little girls. And it's cool for the but after the 35th time, it's like we've had enough. So Joe Rogan wants to blame another country, but he needs to make sure he has someone to instantly pull him back in the right direction. People will say that there was this guy that came onto Joe Rogan and said to him, hey, let me guess your debit card PIN number. And he did this thing where he's like, let me tell you like the first number. And then like, let me tell you the last number. And that was like, for a lot of conspiracy people, that was the moment where Joe Rogan was put in check, was told, hey buddy, get back in line. That was the time when it was scary, because they're basically like, all your money, we know where all that is. We know your money situation. So Joe Rogan treads lightly. And also, it's like been a year later. People were having these theories, foreign involvement in Charlie Kirk's death, but people weren't waited a long time to go there. Another thing is now, if you criticize foreign nations, your visa will be denied in the States. So, tread carefully, because by far the worst president, and I'm the one that said one of the best presidents of our lifetime, Donald Trump. Now I will walk it back and say 180, one of the worst presidents of our lifetime is having flock cameras, data centers accelerated, Now, now you can't go to America if you criticize foreign nations. Okay? So, you know, we're in very, very weird times. And everybody in the mainstream media is controlled. And what that means, because you'll think like, oh, everyone can be controlled. Or you're saying everyone's controlled. No, what I'm saying is there will not be another Joe Rogan again. There will not be another guy that looks organic, that acts organic in terms of not being astroturfed. There will only be claviculars next. That's what's coming down the pipe. Guys that OD and do pharmaceuticals and do all this crazy stuff and get surgeries, become infertile. There's a lot of that will be coming next. And if you look at Hassan Piker, good or bad, I just feel like he also knows, he also stays within his lane to a certain degree. To a certain degree, he knows how far and how much he really wants to, get into the weeds with things. Because the devil's always in the details. So Andrew Wilson and Rachel Wilson and Andrew Wilson being back on Joe Rogan's podcast is very weird. And I was reading on Twitter, someone wrote a comment, Joe Rogan has had Andrew Wilson on 2 times in the last 6 months, but Candace Owens hasn't been back there in 8 years. So, the 2010s are over. That world, all those celebrities from that time, that's over. Now, post-COVID, back to the worst president ever. COVID started on his watch. Now, Biden, whatever, Trump. Way worse. Way worse on all fronts. But Joe Rogan will not let you speak illeth of Peter Thiel. Joe Rogan used to defend Sam Harris like his life depended on it. There was a time where if anyone ever got out of line and said one thing weird about Sam Harris, boom, Joe Rogan would unload. Thanks for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe. Thanks.